horizontal. We control the vertical. Peer into the infrared.
Nerds, gamers, and fans, this is Tales from the Infrared! Join us as we dive into fandom and explore comics, gaming, sci-fi, and fantasy, all from a red pill perspective. Hold on to your phasers, it's time for Nerdgasm! Featuring Rachel Edwards, Jim Kelvarn, James Huff, Dean Esme, and Christian Shearson.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to Tales from the Infrared. I am Christian Shearson, your host, and joining me is, of course, Dean Esme.
Hi, everybody. Sorry for that delay. How you doing, everybody? Good to hear from you. Bye-bye.
Jim Kelvarn.
I'm here. I'm gone.
Rachel Edwards.
Hello.
And Nephenor of Thrall.
Greetings from orbit.
And, of course, running the back room, as always, is the man himself, James Huff.
Hello, folks.
All right, so quick announcement, IRC seems to be down again, so if you're trying to connect, it's not going to work, sadly.
No chat this week, sorry.
I know,
We are working on a new chat. We are working on a new chat solution that we hope to have rolled out within the next month or so. Just so everybody knows.
Alright, so, apparently I lost the coin toss, so I'm going to be taking us through the topics. So why don't we just roll into it? Gamergate. Why gaming journalists keep dragging Zoe Quinn's sex life into the spotlight. The gaming press wants gamers to believe that the Zoe Quinn story is about her sex life and misogyny in the gaming community, but in reality, they're trying to shield themselves from accusations of journalistic impropriety, and they don't want to address. Zoe Quinn's sex life is not the story here. While the accusation that Quinn's relationship with Kotaku writer Nathan Grayson may have started this discussion about the journalistic ethics and transparency, the fact is that Nathan Grayson never reviewed Quinn's game, Depression Quest, or wrote about it again after beginning a sexual relationship with her. Had the gaming press left it at that, this story may have gone away, like so many other times in the past when readers have accused those they rely on to report on the gaming industry of being unduly influenced by the publishers and developers they are supposed to cover. Gaming journalists continue to try to hide the issue, and now mainstream media is getting in on the action. Gamergate is picking up steam, so much so that now the mainstream media is jumping in on things. But are they picking the right side? For a couple of media outlets, you find that there is absolutely no integrity. These news sources have come out trying to white knight for the very person that has started the controversy. And they're calling it misogyny, while trying to pin it all on straight, white males. Not Your Shield video shows all the different faces behind Gamergate. Mainstream media may be painting a very biased view on Gamergate and the people involved in it, but gamers from all over the world have come together in a mixing pot of inclusion, acceptance, and a fight against the corruption currently plaguing games media. They did so with a video called We Are Gamers. Throughout this whole fiasco, there have been countless non-white males and females supporting the Gamergate movement to help increase transparency and aim to elevate the ethics put into play by video game journalists. However, anyone who usually reads major news sites on G News will see nothing but articles stating that Gamergate was created to harass and abuse women. Unfortunately, none of the major sites have been willing to report the facts or stick to the truth. Our last topic, diversifying geek culture, DragonCon welcomes fans of all sexes and race. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I want to read this description. I guess I will, but I'll preface it by saying that this is directly from the article that we've sourced at redandblack.com. So this is not our view. Just putting that out there. Comic books, anime, and video games are considered male-centric markets, with titanic white males swooping in to save the day and the damsel with batting eyelashes. Recent efforts have hardly been able to correct this vision. When DragonCon comes to town, this is reflected in those women who dress up like their favorite characters. Unlike their armor-clad brothers, the female warrior's outfit consists of spandex and an unfortunate propensity for high heels. It is understandable at one time, these cultures were created after all to cater to a mainly teenage boy audience, but now it's time for change. It is time for better representation for all of us. Now that the cultural floodgate has been opened, steps have been taken, and I applaud each and every one. Marvel's Miss Marvel is a Muslim American woman. DC's Batgirl has been redesigned so that she has a whole lot more breathing room in her costume. These steps are appreciated, but then there are the deviations. DC Comics still claims they can't make a Wonder Woman movie because it's too outlandish. Marvel refuses to give Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow spin-off a movie. Video game followers coined the derisive term fake gamer girl to describe someone who pretends to like video games in order to be liked by men. In short, women still seem to trail behind in the geek culture front, despite more of us lining up to buy the newest comic book or manga release. Racial minorities seem to fare no better as the repeated image of white men is played over and over. You know what? I want to start with this topic.
No, I'm good with that. I have several things to say about that.
This article at redandblack.com is so disingenuous, and it's such a misrepresentation of what's going on. First of all, let's take a look at the derisive term fake gamer girl to describe someone who pretends to like video games in order to be liked by men. Let's get one thing straight. They exist. There are attention whores all over gaming. Now, are they the majority of female gamers? No, they're not. The majority of female gamers really do love the games, and they play the games for the sake of the games, and I welcome them with open arms. Let's play some games together. Have a great fucking time. But to sit here and say that the term fake gamer girl, or as I like to call them, attention whore, it's just a derisive term to describe all women? No. It's a term to describe a subset of female gamers who
in fact,
actually are attention whores. Yes,
they're male attention whores. I've seen them in action. Sorry.
have several things on that.
I don't even use the term attention whore in a gender-specific fashion. I really don't. I've seen some male attention whores who just say outlandish shit because they want the attention. They want it to be all about them. Sorry, Rachel, what?
Well, yeah. The situation is when you play a game, you have a choice. You can actually, in the situation, you can pick a gender-neutral screen name if you're going to be playing with other people, and then just never turn on your mic. And the thing about it is that, you'll have that, they won't know you're a guy or a girl, and then you can just get by on merit. You have that choice when you're playing the game, and it's always there. I always choose gender-neutral name. Always.
Let's take a look at booth babes. What are booth babes? Do you think the booth babes at E3 or at Comic-Con give a shit about the product they're selling? They don't. Most of them are given what amounts to only a pamphlet that has a small bit of information about the product that they're trying to sell, the product that they're trying to raise interest in. Just to slightly get them up to speed, but outside of that, they couldn't give a fuck less.
In fact, I've seen people take umbrage not at the existence of booth babes, which there's reason to object to their presence, frankly, but regardless, I've seen people outright deny the existence of same as if using the term at all is somehow hatefully misogynist, which is stupid because we know perfectly well there are gaming companies and people at all sorts of conventions who hire pretty women to sit there in the booth because they believe it is an effective marketing ploy. I don't know to what extent it is effective. I don't even know if we need to debate that. Their very existence, give me a break. They're there. And what of it? And I'll even know once more, if they had hot male models there too, I would call those guys booth babes or booth beefcakes or whatever the fuck you want. Anyway, I'm astounded we've gotten to such a level we can't even discuss this. So.
Well, I've got to say this. First off, sex sells. Regardless of whether people want to admit it or not, sex sells. I talk with strippers, Hooters girls, the LA Kings Ice Crew, you name it. Everybody who deals with this in any way will tell you sex sells. Advertisers will tell you sex sells. Whether it's male, female, doesn't matter. If the audience is primarily male or even lesbian, they're going to sit there and they're going to put up hot-looking women. Deal with it. That's how it is. If the audience is primarily male, they're going to put up the beefcake. It's the reality of what happens. Going to the fake gamer girl, honestly, that literally is the girls who sit there and they're like licking controllers and saying, "Oh, I'm a gamer," yada yada yada. Most female gamers I know are usually sitting there cussing right along with the guys and having a whole lot of fun and basically yelling the same thing the guys are, which is, "I'm punning you, noob," shit like that. Which personally I'm not a big fan of the whole leet speak bullshit, but to each their own. By all means, next person, Neffenor, I think you wanted to jump in here.
Yeah, for me, when it comes to the fake gamer girls, I actually don't call them that. I refer to them as girl gamers, because, as I've stated in one of my videos, they're putting their gender identity ahead of their gaming identity, and when they do that, they put the preface on the fact that they are a girl first and a gamer second. And to me, that's disingenuous, because if you're going to be a gamer, you put that first. You don't give a shit what the gender of the other person is. You are putting your gamer identity first. People who put their gender first are obviously trying to get something out of it because of that. Take it away, Dean.
No, Rachel, go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, here's the thing though. When they said that the anime market was fucking male dominated, it was like, oh, I cannot believe these people fucking even said that. Because if you look at the way that they market things in Japan, there are entire demographics that they target with specific anime. There's shoujo, there's josei, there's a lot of different shows for girls, a ton of them. And a lot of women in the US watch those. There's a lot of female otaku, so to sit there and say that it's male dominated and that it doesn't have as much diversity, there's a lot of men that watch those girly animes too. We love the fuck out of them. They love the cutesy things. No problem with that. But yeah, it's just ridiculous that they would say that they try to paint this picture of this sort of ultra macho set of guys that don't want women in their club. It's bullshit. They try to say that. It's completely untrue. But yes, go on.
So, yeah, and I get rather sick of it. It's the hypocrisy that gets me. I gotta underscore. Nefanor just said it dead on right. If you're putting your sex first, you're not a gamer. You're putting your sex first. I think Rachel introduced me to this concept. I know it came from some of the other women who do the honey badger thing. Girl on the internet syndrome. It's like, I'm a girl. Pay attention to me because I'm a girl. So essentially, if that's your attitude coming in and you want to be included because vagina, you are a girl gamer. And you weren't really there because you want a game for the love of the game. If you were, you wouldn't be doing all this bitching. This is like saying, and we've seen a lot of commentary on Not Your Shield. I know this kind of segues out, but it matters. Like Camera Lady, who's done some great work on both Not Your Shield and the whole Gamergate fiasco. It's just infuriating to her, and a lot of the Asians, blacks, Hispanics, who are part of Gamergate and Not Your Shield, how they are just so condescended to and behaved as if, well, what I am is an Asian gamer. What? Okay, you're an Asian gamer, so you're here to talk about Asia first and you're here to game second? What? Who does that? I'm a black gamer. What? What do you mean you're a black gamer? What does that mean? Who even does that? Actually, the only ones I know who make a habit of that are, in fact, girl gamers, female gamers. And that's not to say all female gamers or even the majority of gamers who are female act like that. But this subset, who make it about their sexual identity first and foremost, what the fuck is that? It deserves a derisive response. Seriously, this would be like me walking in and saying, hey dude, I'm Native American, or I'm part Native American. You need to be making space and respecting me because of that while we're playing Battlefield. What? That's all I got.
Oh, fuck. I mean, honestly, okay, I'm two things that everybody listening needs to Google right now. Do a Google image search of frag dolls, and then do a Google search for Gamer Girl magazine. Now, the Google image search of frag dolls will undoubtedly bring up varying pictures of half-naked women or fully nude women holding game cases or game controllers to cover their breasts and their vaginas, spread out in overly sexual poses. And in Gamer Girl magazine, the only thing you need to see about Gamer Girl magazine is the front cover. And if you look at the woman on the front cover and try and tell me she represents actual female gamers, you're fucking high on some sort of crack, acid, crystal meth mixture. No, that is not a female gamer. She's a fucking model who's getting paid to do a photo shoot, and then she's going off and doing other things that have nothing to do with geek culture at all. it's and Red and Black want to tell me that these models, these attention whores, don't exist. That it's just a term that was created to vilify female gamers. No, that's not the case at all. Jim.
Actually, it's Neff and Nor's turn first. Go for it, Neff.
No, go ahead, Jim. I lost my thought.
Oh, I've actually got several things on that, too. The problem I see with this is, that's exactly what they are. These are models that people are looking at, and people are getting upset because, for whatever reason, I don't know. But most of the gamers I ever talk to, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, they want women in gaming. They want women to play games, but the problem I always see is the make space for me. Okay, what about the people who have already been there and who have taken the lumps, gotten beaten down by 5,000 other gamers with the tagline of I pwn you noob and other shit like that? But, we need to make space for somebody else who's just coming in? No, take your lumps, deal with things, and, if you don't like the culture that's been created, get the fuck out. I mean, I'm not even going to say I'm sorry for this. I'm sick and tired of everybody saying, you need to make space for me, but what about the people who are there? Where's their space? The people who have been there for a long time, who created this culture. Why do they need to make space for someone else and give up the space that they created? I mean, seriously, I see a whole lot of just mental gymnastics with that thought process. I mean, does no one else see these mental gymnastics here? It's not about them. It's about them taking over and dictating what they want instead of joining in and having fun and enjoying something new. Come on. Okay, Neff, if you got it, go for it. If not, whoever.
Yeah, I got it. The problem is, this is something that we've seen in many other cultures. The women who are coming in and trying to tell people what to change, they're not there for the culture themselves. They are there for themselves. They are there to change things because they don't like how it is. A lot of times, they're not coming in to try and make things better or to make it more inviting for other people. What they're trying to do is they're trying to destroy a space that was predominantly male, that some women enjoy, and just come in and destroy it. They don't care about the culture. They care about destroying something that primarily men enjoy. And that's disgusting. Yes, there are women that enjoy it, but you know what? I bet you $10 most of the women that enjoy it are not your typical feminine women. They are just women that want to play games. They don't care about the fact that it's a male-dominated culture. They're there for games. They're there for the same thing the men are, having fun. But they just want to come in and destroy it. And it's getting sickening that these people can come in and tell everyone how to behave when it's not even something they want to do. They just want to change it.
I had the pleasure last week of sitting with my son and my wife. Oh yes, I have one of those. Last I heard, I'm allowed to. But anyway, I and my wife, we sat and we watched the North American Championships for League of Legends. And in a surprise, a team called Solo Mid actually took the championship over a team known as Cloud9, which has won the championship, I don't know, 2-3 years in a row. And so this was an upset. by solo mid. And not to get into it, but everybody actually seems to agree that that's actually going to help Cloud9 and the North American League in general, because Cloud9 now has real competition, and this will make both of those teams better when they go to Korea to compete on the world level, because both teams will go. Because I guess the winner and the second runner up always gets to go to the championships. But one of the things I noticed while watching this, I noticed two things. And the only reason I noticed, by the way, is because we constantly talk about issues like this. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have noticed, because I really wouldn't have cared. But one thing I noticed is, if you know anything about League of Legends, it's a team game, and you require 5 players on each side. That's all there is to it. You really can't play with 4, or if you try, you're really handicapped. The standard game, 5 players on each side, end of story. Every competitor was male. Because it's a very intense game, by the way, and you have to be very, very fast and concentrate a lot and put a lot of hours in to get good at it. They were probably all under 25. No shock at all there, because after about 25, your hand-eye coordination and your reflexes do slow down. It's just a given. It's what happens. So I would guess they were all between 16 and 24. They were all male. And, by coincidence, they were mixed-raced. Now, who in their right mind thinks, A, that there's some kind of effort to exclude different racial groups from that league? Or B, thinks there's an actual effort to tell women they're not allowed to compete? Does anybody think either of those? Does any sane person think either of those things is true? Or is this a more realistic scenario? Most women don't particularly have the interest in that kind of game in the first place, and don't want to put the hours in that kind of skill gaining, and that might just be okay and not some evil social patriarchal misogynist concept. And B, gamers don't give a fuck either way about race, they just want a game. Does anybody think that's a crazy thought on my part?
No, actually, I agree with you. In fact, that's
totally
pretty
crazy.
much what I've seen.
Am I totally crazy, Nevanor?
Yeah, but that's beside the point. The thing is that always gets me is they always try and talk about inclusion of the different races, but they always forget the biggest point, which I will always bring up whenever somebody says that you need more inclusion of races in gaming, is, have you seen the World Championships of StarCraft? It is usually the Koreans kicking everybody else's ass.
Well, there's a reason for that, because in South Korea, StarCraft, it's like
It's a religion.
StarCraft is like the NFL in the States. It
Yeah,
really
they have
is.
fucking
They are fucking
airplanes
superstars.
painted up.
Professional StarCraft players in South Korea are fucking superstars.
They have
StarCraft
goddamn
level
airplanes that are painted up in complete StarCraft thing. They have commercials where there's kids wanting to grow up to be Protoss or Zerg. It's like, for God's sakes, it is part of their culture, but they still kick our asses every time.
Nefanor, you're clearly wrong. Even though it's also true that everybody pretty much agrees that this North American team will be lucky if they get into the top 16 when they get to Korea. They're hoping they'll make it to the top 16. That would be a plus and a first for North America. And clearly, anybody in their white minds knows that this is because there is a conspiracy against white people by the Yellow Peril. Right?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That
God.
makes sense. Makes sense.
I mean, come on! We all know it, right? That's what those yellow people are, right?
It's the straight Asian oppressors. They're
The
coming.
Asian oppressors are taking us down! Oh my...
No, the truth is, they just put in a lot of fucking time because it is a major part of their culture. Korean StarCraft players and pretty much Korean Dota players or League of Legends players, they put in a lot of fucking time to practice, and they get amazingly good. I mean, amazingly good, and that is merit.
Yeah,
That
the
is
actions per
all
minute on some of those
absolute
guys
merit.
is fucking amazing.
I know Jim wants to go next, but I got to jump in. I just want to say I'm looking forward to being quote mined by someone who thinks I was serious just there about the Yellow Peril.
You are serious.
Yes,
I'm not serious, though. Fuck you.
Yes, of course. We're all racist because we're white.
I readily accept our Asian overlords.
Hey, I am not... don't be speaking for me. I am gray here. I am not white.
Anyways, take it away, Jim.
Well, see, I brought this up before, and I will bring it up again. These people play the games religiously. I mean, I doubt they even do much more than part-time work. Their whole... Yeah, what's a social life? But that's the trade-off they're taking is they're saying, okay, I'm not going to be social. I'm not going to do these other things. I'm going to devote all my time to this. And you know what? If you look, you see it in chess players.
Try getting a teenage girl to give up her social life, like an average one.
Yeah, you're never going to get that skills. You're never going to get that to happen. But guys are more focused on the things they want to do, the things that they enjoy, and they're willing to give up the social life. They're willing to give up things in order to become the best. And I think that part of what drives gamers is they want to be the best. You look at the at WoW and some of the game firsts, people who reached max level first. I mean, these people spend hours upon hours. They just go through it. They're chugging monsters. They're downing nose doors. They're doing everything they can to have their name at the top. And that's literally what it is they're trying to have their name at the top of this particular pyramid. And that is what all cultures, when it comes to males, does to males, is you need to be the top. You need to be the apex. You need to be the pinnacle in order to have any worth. Otherwise, you're just a male. You're disposable.
I have a quick off-the-topic question I think Christian will know the answer to. Do they do drug testing in competitive gaming? To see if people are using things I'm not kidding. I mean, you can do a competitive event.
Red Bull doesn't count.
No, I guess it doesn't. But no, I'm actually curious because, I would think that short term anyway, methamphetamines, for example, would improve your gameplay short term.
No.
I'm just wondering, do they?
No, they would not.
Used properly and under control, methamphetamine actually improves memory, cognition, and hand-eye coordination. The problem tends to deteriorate over time. So I'm just curious, is there drug testing?
Here's another thing that kind of points to that. Ritalin, which people use to drug up boys for attention deficit disorder. One of the generic versions is a methamphetamine called methylphenidate.
That's right. So I'm actually serious, and I'm going to take it from the laughter that there isn't any. Okay.
There isn't. There's no drug testing in professional esports. You know what? Perhaps there actually should be, because although I will say, and I will defend this point of view, that illegal narcotics are not very likely to improve your gameplay. There are some legal FDA-approved medications that may have a positive effect on a player's ability to perform. So maybe there should be some drug testing in professional esports.
Anyway, I derailed. It was just a curiosity I had. Go on.
Okay.
Go on.
No. Going back to what Jim was saying there about the fact that men tend to be more driven towards it, it's just a short comment. I think you'll appreciate this, Rachel. I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. Okay.
Dun. Yeah. The thing about it is I know we've discussed this before, but when you look at the games that most women play, when they talk about how there are now more female gamers out there than male gamers, those games that they're playing are like the social games. They're the games where you're not really competing with anybody. It's it's often very non-competitive. It's more of the social games. This doesn't represent every woman, but it does represent most women. There's a reason why, like, that Kardashian game made so much fucking money. It's because there are all these women playing it. They do like the social games, the puzzle games, things like that. And it's the way that men and women's minds work. And women aren't often willing to give up that social life. I mean, except for the really, really dorky girls that don't have a social life to begin with. And that's
like
the
Rachel?
thing. Yeah.
Like
yes, like me.
I still love you, Rachel.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm dark too. I'm a dark too. Go ahead.
But seriously though, you aren't going to have your average teenage girl willing to give up her social life and her dating years to put in time and effort into perfecting her skills as a competitive gamer. Not going to happen. The average girl? No. A socially awkward girl that isn't very attractive? Probably. That's more likely. Yeah, but that's just.
And is that bad? Is all of that bad? Is all of that cause for a demand for massive social change?
You have to ask the question of why it's this way, of why there aren't as many women there, and it's just that there isn't as much of an interest among women as there is among men because of the way that teenagers differ in their interests and what their goals are. Girls are, a lot of times their goals at that age are to get a boyfriend, and then maybe when they get married and, all these different things, their goals are not to sit there and be really, 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 really good at a game, for the most part. You will have, like I said, you will always have that percentage of women who are like that. Absolutely, 100%. But they aren't the majority of women that play games.
And there's nothing wrong with those girls either.
There isn't.
That's the thing. Sometimes
we just have to acknowledge our differences.
Especially the feminists, like, sometimes I really think feminism is attractive to girls who are slightly different, and they've decided, rather than accept that, I'm just somewhat different, and there's nothing wrong with being an exception, there's nothing wrong with being exceptional, the world is oppressing me because more women aren't like me. How about the other consideration? Maybe you're just a little different, and being different is okay. Is that a radical thought?
You know what, Dean? I will agree with you on that. In fact, I will wholeheartedly say there's nothing wrong with being different, because from what I've seen, talking to thousands of men and women over the course of my lifetime, everybody is a little different. And if we don't sit there and say, being different, being unique, being who you are is perfectly fine, especially in a culture that's trying to force you into a fucking box. And that's exactly what it is. The culture wants everybody to be cookie cutter. If you look around, everything is cookie cutter. So we're trying to force everybody to fit into this box. Screw that. Just be who you fucking are and enjoy being unique. Nothing else. Go for it.
One of us.
Suck my dick. Suck my dick.
Gibble gobble.
Gibble gobble. That is such a good movie. We got to talk about that one day.
Oh my god, that's a weird fucking movie.
A good movie.
We're talking about the movie Freaks, right? Or is it Freaks?
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely wonderful movie.
Yes, we
but,
are.
Speaking as someone who has probed into humanity quite a bit and sees there are differences. Everybody's different. There's nobody the same.
That's hot enough.
And everybody's ass is always different. I mean, never mind. But the thing that always gets me, and that's never brought up when they always talk about this kind of stuff, is how are we going to get more women into this? We have two options to get the ratio of men and women to be what they quote-unquote want as equal. Number one, they can start kicking men out, which seems to be what they're doing. This is unfair because the people who actually want to be there aren't being there then. Or the other option is they can put women in there that have absolutely no interest in it or no desire to further themselves, which means that they're going to end up dropping out anyway and it's going to go back to the way it was. The truth is they have no end game except drive the men out. That's the only way they can get what they want.
Well, no, because they can't get what they want. I don't think it's possible to get what they want, so there isn't even an end game except to perpetuate.
Well, no, their end game is to get men out. That's the thing. They want the men out. They don't care where they go. They just want them out of there because, oh my God, it's a male space. We can't have that. We have to destroy it. That's what it's all about. Them destroying male spaces.
What some of these people hear when you say male spaces, and maybe this is part of the, I don't know, once in a while I make an effort to reach out to the other side, hoping an open-minded person is listening. When you hear the word male spaces, do you actually think that means no girls allowed? Because I don't. I actually think, yeah, girls welcome if they want to be, but we're not changing the furniture and the decor and our language just to make you happy. That's all.
It's a space where men feel comfortable, and if women want to come and feel comfortable, they're welcome to.
Yeah, but I find it fascinating that the society makes female spaces, makes female-only spaces, and pretends that and acts like not only is that normal, but it is to be encouraged.
Men have man caves. Think about that for a moment, though. The fact that men even need a man cave in their own house should be telling.
Yeah, here's the difference, though. Individual men will create their own man cave, whereas when it comes to female spaces, that's society creating those spaces. Society as a whole. It's not individual women going, I want my own personal woman cave. It's society saying we need female-only gyms. We need female-only racquetball courts, or we need female-only whatever. And the men create their own personal spaces for themselves individually.
I'll tell you what, Dr. Helen Smith has looked at this question because she found the question of man caves, fascinating, and she came to a radically different conclusion that I think makes a whole lot of sense. Society used to have male-only spaces, like the YMCA used to be for men only. The Boy Scouts used to be for men only. There used to be men-only clubs. They're now looked down upon if they exist at all, which means men, if they want private space away from women, which, let's face it, if women are allowed to do that, so are men, they don't have any option anymore, because it's like even in their own homes, they don't own their own homes. The decor has to be what the wife wants.
Absolutely.
And so the phenomenon of the man cave is actually very new, and the best theory I've seen is Helen Smith's, which is that because men don't have a space anywhere else where they can just be who they want to be. And that's why they make man caves.
Well, yeah, that's what I was
makes
thinking.
sense. Really?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to go with. That's why there are man caves. It's not because they're just trying to for shits and giggles. It's because there is no sanctuary for men anymore. Women are now the ones who are dominating that house, with their decor and everything, and if these guys want to suddenly escape, so many of them no longer have a study or have a place to go just to hang out with the guys, and sometimes they're even ashamed for hanging out with the guys, or some people will even think that when a whole bunch of men are meeting together in secret, that there's some kind of underlying conspiracy afoot.
They're trying to teach rape.
You are not supposed to reveal that.
Are they? Yes, it's the Mason's secret plot. Rape.
That's right. He's just revealed the secret patriarchal meetings.
Oh gosh!
You're going to be penalized at the next meeting.
No, I have permission.
The Shriners.
Nick gave me permission.
All right.
Shriners, all these other secret societies that are male dominated. Yeah, secretly they're the architectures of rape culture.
I actually think it goes a little bit deeper than that. And sadly, this is probably going to get me a lot of hate mail, in which case they can suck my dick. But it's a case of, as human beings, we don't want to be around somebody 24/7. There's an old saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Sometimes we need to get away from people, and being around the same person 24/7, 365, sometimes tends to create disdain or even
Extra friction.
Yeah, it creates extra friction. In a couple of my relationships, I noticed they broke apart a lot quicker when I spent more time with the other person than if I occasionally took time for myself and told them, okay, you do something on your own or go do something with your friends. And that's the reality that I've seen with people, is you need time away from that other person. Being around a person all the time is aggravating and annoying. I don't care how much you love somebody, you need time away from them. All right.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%, Jim. And that's why, okay, if there are any women out there listening, or if there's any, well, of course there are men listening, for the love of God, if you're in a relationship, take some breaks. I'm not talking about like a relationship break. I'm saying go and hang out with people that aren't your partner. You need that time apart. It's healthy. Because if you don't ever spend any time away from your partner, you're not going to really be able to fully appreciate them, I don't think. Because being with other people who aren't your partner make you appreciate more the things about your partner that you love, that are unique about them.
And also, never ever be the overly attached girlfriend and constantly text while he's gone.
God. Yeah, don't do that. Please, don't fucking do that. And
that's several of my exes. Let's go to the next topic.
Next topic.
Well, all of our other topics pretty much meld in together. They're all about Gamergate, Not Your Shield, nepotism, and a lack of integrity in gaming journalism. So, why don't we tackle all three of the remaining topics together?
We might need a refresher on these little segment bits.
Well, I mean, Gamergate, why gaming journalists keep dragging Zoe Quinn's sex life into the spotlight.
Oh gosh, did you see the Vice article? I think it was a Vice article where she was so sad and she's just looking into the camera, just, oh, poor pitiful me, I'm afraid for my life, I'm couch surfing.
Also right on the Telegraph. Telegraph.co.uk, which I'm putting in our...
Oh no, guys, I'm so sad after I stole from charity. I stole the money and didn't give it to charity, even though I totally marketed my game to be about depression and helping people with depression. I totally didn't make money off of that.
Okay, two things about that. First off, she claimed that the money was going to be going to two charities for depression, which was proven false. However, on the upside, Gamergate themselves raised several $1,000s to do that for her, basically saying, fine, if you're not going to do it, we're going to do it. Fuck you, Zoe. Now, the second thing is, there's a lot of people trying to get into the Gamergate tag who are saying, hey, I've got some Super Smash Bros. 4 codes. If you guys tweet this anti-Gamergate shit, like, oh, one of them was Drop Dead Zoe Quinn, or I Love Rape in the Gamergate tag, you get one of the codes. That's the kind of shit these trolls are doing. And of course, the people who have the codes are generally journalists. Gee, I wonder how that works.
Yeah, turn your back on the entire movement and we'll give you free games.
Sell your soul for a fucking $1. That's about what it sounds like.
And did you just say Super Smash Bros. 4?
Yes.
That's not even a real game.
It is in beta. That's what the codes are for.
What? The codes are for what? The beta for the Wii U or the 3DS version?
Not sure exactly, but I keep seeing it coming up. I've retweeted a couple of them where the people saying, I have codes for Super Smash Brothers 4. Here, I'll get you into the beta or whatever. It's like, it's 3DS. Super Smash Brothers 3DS demo codes.
Yeah, no.
That's what they're doing to try and get people to turn Gamergate against itself. And it's just disgusting.
Well, as a 3DS owner, I can tell you right now, Nintendo doesn't do betas, open betas on the 3DS handheld. They don't. They have demos, free demos, but they're only available after the release of a game. They don't do open betas.
You know, another thing they've been doing. Another thing they've been doing to try and split it up, which I'm noticing is consistently failing spectacularly, makes me feel good. They note my presence. I think they note Christian's presence and a couple of others and say, see, Gamergate is nothing but a bunch of those hateful, misogynist MRAs. And those of us who happen to be MRAs, I think, have, by and large, done ourselves well by refusing to take that bait or acknowledge it at all. In fact, I don't know about you, but when I've seen feminists posting to Gamergate, I've said, good for them. Even though I don't like feminism and what it really stands for, and I think there's a lot of very misguided feminists who believe feminism is about equality, you know what? If they believe that and they live it, good for them. And they're welcome too, because Gamergate isn't about this sort of thing.
No, it's not. I will openly take the stance, and I will defend this stance that Gamergate is not about feminism. It's not about men's rights. It's about nepotism in games journalism. That's what it's about.
Yep, I gave to the Fine Young Capitalists. We're even thinking about doing a fundraiser here on TFI for Fine Young Capitalists. And guess what Fine Young Capitalists is? A feminist group. They're openly that. So
yeah, they're not just feminist, they're really feminist. But you know what? As long as they're sitting there actually doing what other places aren't, and actually trying to, help women get into the industry based on merit, yeah, more power to them.
I gave money to them already.
I'll be honest with you. If they're putting their money where their mouth is, as far as I'm concerned, that's worthy of supporting them.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of feminists. I've done enough study to sit there and say, okay, if you follow feminist ideology, you're really suspect in my opinion. But if you follow actually putting your money where your mouth is and you try and support what people claim it to be, which is actual equality, first off, I'd say you're not really a feminist. You're a humanitarian or an equalist. But for the most part, it's you're putting your money where your mouth is. You're living your ethical code, your integrity. I'll support that all day long, 24/7, 365. I don't give a shit.
Absolutely. I think that a lot of people think that we're out mostly to just hate on feminists and to sit there and try to destroy feminists or all this other shit. But I think that they don't understand why we oppose them. And I think the biggest consistent thing is that they are essentially a thought police. It's not good enough for them to have their beliefs about how they feel you need to bring about equality. That's not enough for them. They have to go and push it on everybody else. And because they don't have a clearly defined means by which they should ethically pursue equality, it ends up being a situation where some people go by what feminism feels to them in their hearts, and some of those women don't have a conscience, so to them what feels right to them is to step on men to elevate themselves. And I think that is one of the consistent problems that the men's rights movement has with feminists.
Don't tell me there aren't feminists who step on men. Don't tell me that doesn't happen. It's commonplace. Look around you, dumbass. It's common, and if you think it's wrong and you're a feminist, it's on you to clean that shit up. It is. Otherwise, seriously, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem.
We're cleaning up our house. It's time for them to clean up theirs.
None of us are opposing women working out working and being equal to men under the law. No, we support that 100%. We just do not support this idea that your way is the only way, and you haven't really clearly defined what your way is, so it can be anything. And we're kind of pretty fucking tired of it. It's just ridiculous. So yeah.
Wow. I think she just pretty much said all of our idea on things.
Well, okay, let me expand on this. This is something we've talked about before, since we're making it an MRA versus feminist discussion here, and why not? That's what some people want. We do spend a lot of time banging on feminists. There's no question. But there's a reason for that, and it's not because we want the women back in the kitchen. It is because they make it so easy. The biggest mouths in that community, the ones with the most money and power, make it really easy because they stay and advocate some really stupid, fucked up shit. But in the end, I think you have most of us, it's the whole gynocentric attitude that pedestalizes women and demonizes men. And that you don't just find in feminism, you find in a lot of cultures all around the world.
I think men are
and there's a reason for it that we evolved that way as a species, but it is time to evolve and realize, no, ladies first does not necessarily constitute what is necessary for a functional and, I'll even say it, progressive society.
Yeah, I think men are also really, really frustrated about all this because they'll say on the one hand that they want to be equal to men and they want equal treatment, but then they go off and do the opposite. And these women are not living up to their own shit. They're not actually backing up what they're saying when they say that they want equal treatment under the law, when they're saying that they want rights equal to men. They're saying that they want all of these things, all of these protections, but without equal treatment. So they're saying, okay, well, I don't want to have to sign up for the draft or get rid of the draft, or I don't want to do all these other things, but I want to have all of these nice little protections and things that I'm fighting for, but without having to be treated like a man.
So what you're saying, essentially, Rachel, is most women are saying, I want to be special, I want to be treated as this lofty thing, I want to be a princess, and...
I wouldn't even say go so far as that, but yes, some cases, absolutely. But I think it really comes down to that they don't want to have to be treated the way that men treat each other. And that is very different. So when you see them in the workplace and they're saying, oh my gosh, this guy said something really, really lewd, they don't understand how men treat each other or how they communicate. They don't even understand that. So when you're saying, okay, I want to be treated as an equal, what they're saying is, okay, instead of going into that space and adapting, they want everyone to instead adapt to them.
That's not equal.
Exactly.
You want to be treated equal.
You know what? I think I see a perfect sci-fi analogy here. Feminists are the Borg. They want to come in. They want us to assimilate their culture, and they don't want to take into account of individuality. They want everyone to be the same. Everyone's got to do the same stuff. But of course, since they have a Borg queen, they want the women in charge.
Well, what's doubly funny about that is that men enable that. Men enable that. And I don't know what of course men are starting to get annoyed and are starting to speak up, but men are, the whole notion that all we do is rag on women, no. The men who pedestalize these women, in my view, are worse than the women they're pedestalizing half the time. They are enabling bullying and applauding lying. Anita Sarkeesian is a pathological, I'm going to say it again, pathological liar. For a living, a lucrative living. Everybody talks about Sarkeesian and the $160,000 she raised. Dude, she makes more than that. She continues to collect money and she continues to tour and do speaking engagements. She is a full-time professional damsel in distress, which is why she's part of this Gamergate. It may have started with Zoe Quinn, but if you ask me, it really started with the gaming press and the mainstream press's unwillingness to look critically at Anita Sarkeesian and those stupid videos of hers, which are full of errors and outright fabrications, and nobody would cover it. I think that's the boil that's been growing, and Zoe Quinn was just the pin that popped it. That's what I think.
Speaking of which, I'm going to use my special male privilege and call for the bonus round.
Ooh.
This is something I was hiding from everybody. Apparently, we all know that Anita Sarkeesian was harassed on Twitter, given death threats and rape threats and all that. However, there were several tweets from her saying she went to the cops, and of course the cops did nothing. But there are two YouTubers who found no evidence of her going to the cops. Having said that, I will also point out that there is evidence she went to the FBI. Take it away, people.
But even if that's the case, though, she then lied about local authorities telling her that they didn't know how to handle the issue. If they sent it to the FBI, then of course they fucking knew how to handle the issue.
Here's the thing, and I am going to crow a little bit. I don't know if I did this on Tales from the Infrared last week. I don't think I did, but I did say it on YouTube and a couple of other places. Hey guys, slow down a little bit. She might have gone straight to the FBI, and a lot of people said I was nuts, and now there's evidence that she did do that. It's not clear yet. What I find fascinating about that, though, is the guys who revealed the fact that there was no police report, when they got evidence that there might be there was FBI involvement, they immediately revealed that too, and now they're being attacked for bad journalism. Excuse me, first off, they're doing this on a volunteer basis, and B, this is the kind of shoe leather work that real journalists ought to have been doing in the first place, rather than just critically accepting whatever Sarkeesian said, uncritically accepting whatever she said. And B, it's still not clear, even if there is an FBI report, it's not clear she did everything right, and it's still clear that she lied about some things. I do mean lied. I don't mean any chance for mistakes here. Lied. Go ahead.
Yeah, because...
Or Neff, go ahead.
Neff, you got it?
Okay. Now, because the thing is, she actually said, and I quote, this is from her tweet, "Police, if you keep getting these threats for your work, why don't you stop?" Me, incredulous, because I believe it's important. Right there, she said, in that tweet, she talked to police. So even if she did go to the FBI, she is still lying.
Or is so stupid she doesn't know the difference between police and FBI, which I find very hard to believe.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that the FBI would say that to her. I really do. But the thing is, I've tweeted this to Anita, because she does choose to do this every day. She does choose to wake up every single morning and to do this. And if you are an activist and you think that you're going to have just a nice little cushy ride doing this regularly, then you are sadly mistaken. If you thought that it was just going to be sunshine and rainbows, sitting there giving a controversial stance on something, then you're delusional. And that's what she seems to be saying. And the thing about it is, I don't think she's that stupid. I think she knows exactly what she's fucking doing, and I think she's always known. But she sits there and acts like, oh my gosh, I could never have foreseen that I would be getting death threats and all of these things, and people telling me that I'm a cunt. Oh my gosh.
Now, anybody who's listening to this, who's new to this stuff, should be listening very carefully to what Rachel is saying here. I get harassed and name-called for my activism on a daily basis, because I'm out there and I'm taking a position that runs counter to the dominant cultural narrative, and I won't apologize for it. I'm frequently mischaracterized and lied about, and every time that happens, I call out the liar, or call out the mischaracterization. I get threats, including death threats, all kinds of vicious personal insults about how I look, about how I sound, about what my real motives supposedly are. Happens to be daily. How about you, Rachel?
The thing about it is I don't get as much hate, probably because I just don't take their shit. I mean, I'm on Tumblr, On occasion, what will happen is that they will approach me, but most of the time they will pussy out. They totally will. And they just don't say anything to me. They don't have the balls, and if they do, they'll send me an anonymous message telling me that I am the scum of the earth. I think I received 2 messages like that recently. It could be wrong. I think it was one. One for sure. Yeah. And told me that I should go die.
I'm just going to jump in here really quick. I'm going to say to the listeners, the IRC chat is back up and running. So if you are not in the IRC chat, go ahead. You can go to avoiceformen.com/chat and join through either of the servers. The server 2 is the recommended one, however, and you can join the chat.
This is interesting because, again, while it goes off topic, it's actually relevant to me. I'm not surprised to hear that from you there, Rachel, because I know Amanda Marcotte, who, by the way, is a notorious hate-mongering bigot, and she's a pro at it, recently called out Kathy Young, of all people, for daring, who is, by the way, a moderate feminist, for daring to publish the fact, not the opinion, the fact that men receive more harassment online than women do. And Amanda Marcotte savaged her for daring to say that, but it turns out research shows that it's true. Men get more threats, more name-calling, and more harassment than females do on average. And I get it fucking daily. Where's my check? That's all I want to know. Where's my check? Where's my check? Sorry. Somebody else talk.
Okay. Jim, isn't it your turn?
Yeah, I'm back. Here's the thing. What she did by going to social media is considered obstruction of justice. She's obstructing an ongoing investigation into a criminal act. That is in itself a criminal act.
I'm not sure that would stand up in court that way.
No, it will stand up. No, it will stand up in court. Yeah. It has been used many times before.
Over what? But if she's the victim, it's hard for them to prosecute her that, although there is the child porn issue.
Here's the thing. If there's an ongoing investigation pointing out that there's an ongoing investigation, pointing out that she went to the cops at all, gives the perpetrator a chance to get away and hide. It makes the cop's job that much more difficult. I've gotten this from a 30-year veteran of the police force. It is obstruction of justice. It will hold up in court. She will never go to court for obstruction of justice, however.
Wow. I'm actually going to read one of these messages that I received, and this is a real message, by the way. This isn't some shit that that I made up. You can find this on my blog, and instead of sitting there and damseling, I actually addressed what they said. And to give you a little bit of context, this had to do with that date rape nail polish. Anyway, this entire blog is a fucking travesty. You're an ignorant shit, and don't even fucking deserve an explanation why, because it's right there on the front of your blog. I am a cis man, and I am disgusted by this shit. I hope you fall into a car compactor and come out of it half dead, so you can reevaluate your life while sitting in your sad little wheelchair and sucking chicken through a straw, and realizing it was a horrible idea to call a woman out on saying nail polish won't stop rape.
Dude, bravo! Man, if you are going to insult, standing that's very creative.
Yeah, it was a good one. No, I mean, I actually laughed at that. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Hats off.
No, but instead I addressed what they were talking about. I made their argument. I don't think that they responded. They might have. But yeah, it was just ridiculous. Alright, but yeah, getting back to the topic. Anything else anybody wanted to say? I mean, I don't know if... I really think that if people actually looked at Anita's books critically, if they could actually look at her finances, you could probably just get it right there. I honestly think that all you have to do is just do a little bit of digging and get far enough to do that, and you would uncover a whole bunch of shit. Because it's very, very obvious that she lies so often that it is indistinguishable from the truth at this point. You see that every time somebody digs. I mean, sure, at first you have evidence that she's a complete asshole with the way that she addresses people when they say, okay, listen, you've wronged me in this way, can you help, can we make this right? There's this aversion to working things out. Like the Cow Kitty situation, where it was with her fan art that was used on the logo and everything like that. The first message was basically fair use and basically fuck yourself. Not in those words, but that was essentially what it was. It's like whatever, tough. And then the moment she sat there and questioned their non-profit status was when everything was when they finally accomplished something. She's like, listen, I'm going to call a lawyer unless you show me your paperwork saying that you're a non-profit. And
not too long after that, that's when she became a non-profit.
Exactly. And she waited.
Yeah, she had to go and put
she waited to put forth the paperwork a good portion of time after she'd gotten the money. There's a gap in between that, a huge one. You could drive a truck through it. And that's where all the money went. She could have put money down on a home, gotten a car, any of those things. We don't know. But I'm going to tell you that's probably what happened with the money, because anybody that knows anything about production equipment and software will tell you that it doesn't cost that damn much to get all those things. It costs a good sum of money. Yeah, absolutely, a couple thousand. But it doesn't cost $160,000 to do it. But yeah, so go on.
Let me make a point out too. This is a mistake we all continually make. I know, because it's easy to do. We say $160,000. No. That's what she got 2 years ago. She has continued to rake in income ever since.
Oh, absolutely.
She's got her constant donations that she gets off the website. She's probably raking in around $5,000 a month, in addition to the $158,000 that she got.
Speaking fees. She gets to go to a conference and as a celebrity and talk.
She also receives donations, probably from a lot of people in the gaming media. Probably Polygon. Actually, I would sit there and bet money on that.
She is an advisor for Silver String Media. That has been established.
Yeah. That is
how much money they have.
And the shady thing about Silver String is that the people who are involved in this, at least the ones involved, I think, with Maya Kramer, that's the really shifty thing, because since when does a PR agent go and DDoS people?
Is it established that the DDoSing happened, or was she just talking shit there?
No, DDoSing happened to the fine young capitalists, and it's also been happening to the Gamergate wiki. And guess who's doing that? I can tell you one thing. It's not the Gamergate people who are doing it. It's the feminists.
It's not 4chan either.
No. And first off, you have to know where to get the DDoSing software. And that on its own, takes a bit. You have to not be tracked down because it's completely illegal to have.
Yes.
Especially if the DDoS software is tied into other computers.
It's not hard to find, but you have to know where to look to begin with. So that's some shady stuff already.
DDoS, just to connect you, FNR DDoS software has to be connected to multiple computers or it doesn't work. So frequently involves actually putting viruses out there just so you can do it and use computers without knowing. Yep.
Yeah, there are programs that you can use that will basically, it's going to give a bunch of hits to that website, and eventually you crash it.
Yeah, that's the difference between a DDoS and a DOS. The DDoS is the distributed denial of service, which is multiple computers, usually upwards in the hundreds, whereas a DOS is just denial of service from one or two computers hitting it hard.
Yeah, you need a good portion of people doing this, and that's the situation that you have. You have a good portion of people doing this, and I'm going to sit there and say that if you were to go digging, it's probably people involved with Silver String Media in some capacity.
By the way, Jim, I hate to inform you, but Toothless in IRC has a really point. He says he's really disappointed in your hate mail material. He doesn't think it's hate mail worthy, so he's going to send you some real hate mail. So, something to look forward to.
Yeah, I need some new hate mail too. I mean, I got a little bit on Tumblr once, but the moment I posted it and ridiculed them in public, they stopped sending it.
Yeah, that's the way you deal with hate mail. That's the way you deal with hate. In case any of those social justice warrior types are listening, this is how you deal with hate. You confront it head on, give your stance, and give no fucks.
I don't give any fucks. I give probes. They're much more effective.
If I'm going to get my Jimmy's Russell, it's going to be over something bigger than some asshole on the internet calling me a neckbeard. By the way, I have a beard. It extends to my neck. So what? Fuck you. You think that means something? Anyway.
It means you're male, because after all, if your beard didn't grow on your neck, then, well, you've got a problem. And apparently we lost our Jim. He's having computer issues.
Yes.
Aww.
Oh, damn. Well, we're just going to have to mock him and taunt him mercilessly.
Yes.
Let the abuse begin.
Well, we do have about 43 minutes left into the show. Are we done with this bonus round topic?
Yeah, I think so.
Are we ever done with Gamergate?
No, Gamergate is going strong, and it shows no sign of slowing down.
Yes,
not even the release of Destiny could slow it down, which is fucking amazing.
Well, no. Actually, somebody pointed out a very good point. Those of us, like myself, who are playing Destiny, are still playing it. So we're not talking about it anymore. We're just playing it.
Yeah, what they were trying to say there was that, well, this is just the flavor of the month for people to talk about because there's no hot games out. You watch, the topic will be dropped as soon as the new hot game everybody wants is out. No, sorry, that's more attempt to marginalize and trivialize a serious subject. And sorry, Buttercup, people are playing Destiny and still talking about this. So, yeah, I guess the bonus round topic was, what do we do about the fact that apparently there's now evidence that NEA put out an FBI report? There's evidence that happened. Okay, and? So, what? When that was found out, it was immediately released by the Gamergate community to say, here, look, we tell the truth. And when we're wrong, we say so. Wouldn't it be nice if the other side would do the same shit? That's my take on that.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm actually surprised. One of the websites that I've been starting to follow called Gamer Headlines, they just posted they had a thing up about this on Anita Sarkeesian dealing with federal authorities after receiving death threats, but they actually have been updating it as the story progresses, and they've actually been covering Gamergate in a very objective and fair fashion, which I have to give them credit for. And it seems to be the one reporter. And when you look at a picture of this reporter, you're like, he does not look like a gamer, even though he is, because he's literally in, here it is, a Bachelor of Science degree, summa cum laude, in Exercise Science and Wellness Sports Medicine, and is currently enrolled in the Health Sciences Center's Occupational Therapy Program, as buff as he is nerdy.
Wow,
he looks
hot.
He looks like he belongs in a gym, but he's a gamer. And I gotta give this guy credit because he is being very equal on this thing. He has been really calling them to task.
But I mean, I was already feeling like the sexy when you were talking about all the science. Because, science.
Body science.
Just quell that lizard brain.
Okay, I will. Okay, but... No, it's
moving on.
Well, yeah, can we talk about Operation Disrespectful Nod for a moment?
I want to talk more about hard bodies. No, okay.
No, actually, you know what I find funny about this whole Gamergate, though, is there is now a new hashtag that has spawned from it, literally who, which is in reference to Zoe Quinn, because the only time that her name ever comes up anymore by real Gamergates is when she's doing some kind of thing to promote herself again as the harasser, or as the harassed person. So we've basically gotten to the point where we're saying, literally, who are you talking about? We don't care about her.
It's clear it's clear that Zoe Quinn wants to be the center of attention in all this again, because she's got her Patreon account. She's trying to make money through Patreon. She probably wants more money through Patreon to fund a game jam that may or may not happen.
You know what? And this is again why we keep bringing up Anita Sarkeesian. She is Anita Sarkeesian's bastard child. And she's trying to be the next
Wars, a challenge.
Yes, and unfortunately, and I will give this to Anita, she's not as good at it.
Okay, I'm going to say this because the gamer in me is demanding that I say it. Damsel combat!
I'm sorry, but if it's on physical prowess, then Anita would. If it was on physical prowess, Zoe would destroy Anita.
Yeah, however, she's flexible.
We know she'd cut a bitch without thinking about it. However, if it comes to being able to get White Knights to come to your defense, Zoe, you're never going to be there. Cupcake, she wins, hands down. That's all I'm going to say there.
She's got those hoop earrings that she can use as a weapon. They're actually razor sharp.
Oh gosh. No, it's not going to work that way. If you get in a fight, guess what's going first? The damn hoop earrings.
No, she's pulling them off and she's using them like shurikens.
Can I tell
That's fun enough to know that you have to remove those in a fight.
Can I tell you my disgustingly misogynist, hateful, sexist joke?
Do it! Go on.
What do blondes call hoop earrings?
Handles?
Stirrups.
I'm worse.
Anyway.
You know, we need to make a Mortal Kombat game that's got Zoe versus Anita, because I would love to play that over and over.
Anita wins.
Fatality.
White fatality.
Actually, wait. That should be an attack. Her combo move is she has a combo, and then a whole bunch of literal white knights come in and just beat the shit out of Zoe Quinn.
And we can probably get Jack Thompson in on this one too, and have him back, because he was in a Mortal Kombat game too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
In fact, they made up games where people beat the crap out of Jack Thompson. And
nobody fucking cared.
Nobody cared.
You know what? We could get Lee Alexander in the game. We could get all the social justice warriors, and then we'll have Vivian James.
Combat.
And we should have we should have some anti-social justice. We should have Vivian James. We should have Anonymous, like a green face Anonymous.
Oh my gosh! Internet aristocrat would be a
yeah. And Mundane Matt. Don't forget Mundane Matt. Gotta have him in there.
You should have the look of logic.
And Alec Baldwin will be in there, or
Adam Baldwin.
Adam Baldwin will be in there.
You wrote the song
with Vera.
Jane.
He will have Vera in there, so he will be like, "This is my most favorite gun. This is Vera."
Oh, I so want to see this game happen now.
I know. We should do it.
Social warriors, fight! Begin! Fight!
We should do a mod for Mortal Kombat for this, because this would be so fun.
And Jordan,
and it might actually bring some people together and go, all right, this is funny. Zoe Quinn wouldn't think it's funny.
Jordan Owen 42's attack should be the ghost of Ayn Rand, with a machine gun or something. Sorry, that's me. I don't know. That's me and my twisted imagination.
Well, we already know that the Alexander's attack will be a megaphone.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Moving on. What other topics do we have to talk about? See, we talked about the DragonCon.
Yeah.
We had the bonus round.
What are we missing?
We talked about
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
I'm sorry, but I'm just going to be the first to say that I was disappointed in this episode.
What? Okay, yeah.
This
episode
we're going to talk about
Doctor Who?
Yeah,
we're going to talk about Doctor Who.
I was disappointed in the Robots of Sherwood. It just felt too forced for some of it. There were some cute points in it, but it still felt very forced.
I guess I could agree with you there. We are, in case anybody's catching this later, we're talking about last week's episode, the one that aired on the
last Saturday. To be perfectly honest, Sherwood was.
You mean where he raped a Dalek?
Yes.
Yeah. Here's the deal. I'll notice something interesting. We're talking about last week's where we had to do the Robin Hood thing. A couple of things I noticed about this. Christian, am I imagining this? Christian and I both watched the black and white pre-release version that got leaked onto the internet. It was on some websites and not technically legal, but we watched it. Did you notice the same thing I did, Christian? They actually dropped some scenes from the final episode, didn't they?
Actually, to be honest, I have not seen the final cut.
You haven't seen the final cut
of either the Dalek episode or the Robin Hood episode. I've only bothered to watch the screening reels. So I'm not sure what they changed, or if they dropped anything, or if they added any additional scenes to replace them.
I didn't notice any difference on the Dalek one, but I'll mention this. I'm pretty sure I'm not willing to go back and rewatch it. But was there not scenes on that that Robin Hood episode? You remember the scene where the guy who's playing the sheriff of Nottingham, he accidentally gets damaged and gets his head cut off, and it turns out his body is half robotic?
Yep.
Yeah, they took that completely out of this episode.
What? Well, that shot on its own provides so much context into what's going on in Sherwood. Why did they take that out?
Hey guys, am I missing this?
They made him human.
Yes, they totally. You guys who watched the real episode didn't catch that, did you? That wasn't there. They cut that. In the original cut, it turns out he's half or two-thirds robot, and that's part of what his motivating is. Because when the aliens landed, they crushed his body, but they managed to save his life. Completely taken out of the final cut.
I think that actually doesn't really change the story, though, that much. Because in the way they described it in the final cut, he's just doing it for motivation of power. So it still works as a motivation. It's just, I think they felt that one was kind of tacked on, because that does kind of feel tacked on.
Well, it seemed perfectly normal at the time. I think the whole purpose, either way, they did cut it. So it's interesting to know. I mean, if you're a fan of writing and editing and how TV production is done, it's interesting to see what they can cut and still make a story happen. Because that's like a major plot point that they were able to just remove, and the episode does still hold up. But also,
I do like the fact though that he flipped off Robin Hood.
Other bit of fanboy trivia. Did anybody but me notice who wrote the episode?
No, I didn't.
Who wrote it?
Mark Gatiss. Mm-hmm. Mark Gatiss, who plays Mycroft on Sherlock Holmes and is the co-creator of Sherlock Holmes with Stephen Moffat on Sherlock.
Nice.
Yeah, he's the co-creator of Sherlock with Stephen Moffat, and he wrote this episode. They created Sherlock because they were working together as writers on Doctor Who. So, anyway, I thought the episode's purpose was to be lighthearted and funny, and to go back and to just... Doctor Who always has, every season, at least one or two episodes that are just lighthearted and funny. And I think that was the only point of this episode. Even though the Doctor's still being kind of a jerk, it was there to be a lighthearted, funny one-off episode.
I kind of like him being a jerk, though. It's so fun. It's so fun to see him being all grouchy and stuff at once.
Peter Capaldi is playing a very different Doctor to what most people might be used to if they've only watched from Christopher Eccleston up. Yes. There's certainly... Like Tom Baker could be a very funny, lighthearted Doctor, but he could be a jerk at times too. The way he talks to, what is her name? God damn it! Tom Baker's companion. What was her name?
You mean Sarah Jane? Or?
Sarah Jane, yeah, Sarah Jane Smith.
Others. Okay.
Some of the scenes that I've actually went back and I've watched a couple of the older episodes with Tom Baker, and in some of the scenes he is just
almost a bully.
Yeah, he's a bully to Sarah Jane. You can tell in the context of the scene that in most cases he's doing it just to encourage her to work harder at whatever she's doing. Like when she's crawling through that tight ventilation shaft.
That's right. You're just a stupid girl. You can't do anything. And
that motivates her to actually finish the job. And so, in most cases, he's just doing it to encourage her to do better. But he's just being a complete asshole. But from like Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, Matt Smith, you didn't get any of that. But with Peter Capaldi, we're starting to see that.
And the original guy who played it, the one who started it all, William Hartnell, was a cranky, crotchety fuck a whole lot of the time. In fact, it was not even clear much of the time whether he was really a good guy or not. And that's interesting, too, because Peter Capaldi's doctor is spending a lot of time musing on whether or not he's a good guy, isn't he? Am I a good man?
Yeah, he is.
That seems to be I'm seeing that being a running theme through the whole first season, I bet. First series that he does, I mean.
And I'm going to make a prediction here, slightly off topic, but still on Doctor Who. I'm going to make my own prediction. I think I don't think the season is going to be so much about the Promised Land and Missy. I think it's going to be a lot. It's going to have a lot to do with the ship, Madame de Pompadour, the actual ship, and the robots that inhabit it, traveling through time. Because we've seen it in 2 episodes so far.
We have, haven't we? And
there's a lot to do with robots that use living biomatter, living human parts to repair themselves and their ship. Which, if anybody's seen the David Tennant episode, they've brought that back, and I think this first series that Peter Capaldi's in is going to be mostly about the ship from the Madame de Pompadour episode.
I predict that it's going to be...
Well, no, it's a different ship. It's not the Madame de Pompadour. It's the sister ship.
Yeah, right, but whoever that is, whoever created those robot ships in the first place, that's what it's all about. And I'm going to say Missy's tied in with the whole thing. That's going to be my guess. But you're right, that it is going to be about that. So I'm saying you're right, but part wrong, because I think Missy is deeply tied into it.
Oh, I have no question that she's deeply tied into it, and I have no question that this whole Promised Land thing is also going to be a big part of the season. I just think it's going to be primarily about the ships and the robots that use human parts, human body parts, to do repairs.
Well, the one thing is, with the Madame de Pompadour, they went to the robots went to using humans for parts when the ship was falling damaged, and they didn't have any repair parts. They were doing it because they ran out of regular parts, and they started savaging the crew for it. That was the reason for that. So, if they're doing it again, you got to wonder what's going on.
Well, it's also a time travel show too, so you can't say that they're doing it again. We might be seeing what is essentially the process leading up to the David Tennant episode.
Yeah.
True enough.
Does anybody know what tonight's episode is?
I was going to say, me and Gene in the chat room said he thinks the Promised Land is part of an illusion somehow.
No.
I don't know, because, literally it was in the ship's navigation system. That means it has a location. It has a specific location that people can go to. And if that's the case, then, well, there's something to it.
Well, it could be a lie there, though, because it could be illusionary. It could be coordinates to nothing. It could be coordinates to nothing.
Okay. I'm going to say this because I know that... Somebody has the theory about the Master.
Mm-hmm. I'm back. I'm standing by it 100%.
Okay.
I'm standing by it. So you guys can either make fun of me or we'll see.
Remember the end of the universe where the Master was hiding in his own human form, where everyone was going to the final place, the last light before it went out. Maybe that's the Promised Land.
Yeah.
Well, also remember, I pointed out that the whole Master thing. You haven't seen all of the Master's regenerations. It is possible that
it could be an older one.
Or an earlier one.
Well, that's what I mean, yeah. Older, earlier. Previous, there's a better word.
Yeah, but they don't have to because it's already been established in the canon. Oh my God, are we nerding out? But still, it's already been established in the canon that the Master ran out of regenerations and managed to find a way to get more. That's been established in the canon already. So, really, anybody's guess. Anybody's guess.
Same thing happened with the Doctor too. He ran out of regenerations, but they keep finding ways to give him more.
Yes, 12 was set as the absolute limit already, and we know of 13. So there, but it's been established how that happened.
Yeah,
we were given a reason for it. Yes, a bit of a transparent reason, but hey, they had to find a way to make it happen. You knew they weren't just going to kill him off, so hey, or whatever.
Yeah, and
does anybody know what tonight's episode is supposed to be? Does anybody know what tonight's episode is supposed to be about? Because it hasn't aired yet as we do this show. People are going to be listening to this. People will be listening to this next week and going, "Why are they talking about Robin Hood?" It's like, well, because we are airing at a time that something about scary things under the bed. Yeah, something about scary things under the bed.
It looks like it's got a little bit of sci-fi in it too, because I seem to remember there being some kind of a ship involved.
Oh, gee, I wonder what kind that might be.
The episode is called Listen.
Why? I don't want to listen.
Next week's episode is called, what was it? The Time Heist. So Time Heist is next week's episode. Tonight's episode is called Listen, and I don't have a synopsis for this episode.
Give me a second. I have the scripts for the first 5 somewhere.
Here's something interesting I've noticed. Listen, that's interesting. Is this a running theme for Stephen Moffat? Stephen Moffat, I think, deserves credit. He's the current showrunner. He was just a writer. He deserves credit for creating a truly original monster. And he's been doing variations on that, a very original idea since then. The Weeping Angels, they're his creation, right? And what a wonderful creation they are. The monster that can't move as long as you're watching it. But as soon as you look away, it comes after you. So that's where
I found a synopsis.
And the silence.
I found a synopsis.
Okay, well, wait. Let me finish my little theorem here, and then you can tell us the synopsis. That's all about seeing things. And then he created another monster called the Silence, which is that you could only remember them when you looked at them, and then you forgot them when you stopped looking at them. He was playing with the senses. At the beginning of this series, he played with breathing. Don't breathe. And now there's going to be something about hearing. He likes to play with the senses, is all I'm saying. I'm waiting for the one on touch. Maybe that's the one on what the monster under the bed thing is based on, the feeling of touch. We'll see. Anyway, what's tonight's episode?
Ghosts from both the past and the future send the Doctor and Clara on an adventure that takes them to the end of the universe itself. What scares the Doctor more than anything else? The only way to discover the truth is to listen. From statues, the Weeping Angels, to Dust in the Shadows, Vashta Narada, Stephen Moffat has a history of putting a terrifying spin on commonplace objects. Listen adds to this canon as the Doctor investigates a sinister reality behind an old nursery rhyme and the things that go bump in the night that make the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end.
See, this sounds like an episode I'm going to enjoy.
Well, that's the thing, and that's one of the things that's wonderful about Doctor Who. You can go from what is basically comedy and high camp, which is 90% what the Robin Hood episode was, just pure comedy and camp, to really creepy and scary. I mean, like I just said, wasn't Blink the first episode with the Weeping Angels one of the scariest TV episodes you ever saw?
That was also one of my favorite Doctor Who episodes ever.
It was totally creepy and scary. I knew a 15-year-old kid who was like, I can't even look at statues anymore.
Although, I got to admit, the one with Oh, you're my mummy was pretty creepy too. Or should I say the two of them?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I can still fuck with people doing that, like,
Are you my mummy? Guess what?
Oh, you my mummy.
Here's something really fun.
Stephen Moffat wrote both of those, and those episodes are so classic, tells you why he's the showrunner now. He was just a script writer then. He wrote both those episodes.
Here's a prank to pull on your friends. Wait till right after they've seen your friends that are new to Doctor Who, after they've seen the Silence episode, and then just like make little tick marks on their face and place the marker in their hand. They go in the morning to go for the mirror.
Or do it on your own.
Well, yeah, true. You could do it to yourself, couldn't you? Now, because you'll remember having done it. You'll remember having done it. Do it to your friends.
It's more fun to do it to them so that they don't remember.
That's right. If you could pull it off.
Hey, let them pass out from drinking. I mean, we've all seen that happen at least once. The guy who drinks way too much. You just do that a couple of times.
Well, when I was in college, they painted up one of the guys that did that to look like the Ultimate Warrior.
So, tonight's episode of Doctor Who, it seems like it's going to be a creepy episode, probably based in the horror genre, because Doctor Who jumps around from genre to genre. They always incorporate, like, some episodes incorporate comedy, some incorporate horror, some incorporate heavy sci-fi, some incorporate romance. So it seems like tonight's episode is going to be based on horror, and honestly, I can't wait. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it.
Well, speaking of horror, I've got to give a shout-out to a show somebody recommended, and I will agree with them. The Strain. It's just... Oh, yeah.
I can hear about The Strain.
The Strain, it's basically good old-fashioned horror, vampire TV.
Yeah, very Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah, very Nosferatu. And... You know what? I'm a fan of the horror genre, sometimes the comedy horror genre, but mainly the horror genre. And this harkens back to just phenomenal vampire horror.
Yeah, I've got it here. I haven't sat down and watched it, though. I also wanted to see...
And guess who wrote it? Guillermo del Toro, the man who does monsters well.
Yes, he does monsters very well. He's like H.R. Geiger's prodigy or something. I mean, I don't.
No, he's H.R. Geiger's literary version.
No, that's what I mean. I mean, I don't know that they ever even met. But he's somehow like.
Oh God, they should have.
They should have.
I'll just say this, and I'll leave it at that. There's a reason why Hideo Kojima sought out Guillermo del Toro to direct Silent Hills.
Oh, they did?
Guillermo del Toro is directing Silent Hills, the game. It's Norman Reedus is starring in it and is being developed by Hideo Kojima. There's a reason, and it is running on the Fox engine, by the way.
I can't wait to play that.
Yeah, that just made me. Yeah.
Oh, do you need a towel too?
I more than need a towel.
Pants.
I'm not wearing pants.
He's gonna need his hair.
I will, just because now two of you have told me, I will check out The Strain. I gotta tell you, I am not a horror fan. I have never been a horror fan, except maybe comedy horror. Yet somehow, you fuckers, Christian, I blame you for this, pulled me into The Walking Dead. Now you're gonna make me watch a vampire show. If I like this, I'm going to hate you for it. Because I'm so sick
You're gonna
of
love
vampires.
us.
I mean, do you like sci-fi?
Vampires.
No, see, here's the thing, Dean, and I could almost guarantee it. You're getting sick of vampires because of all the fucking
Pussy
romance. All the pussy vampires like Twilight and True Blood. Vampires that aren't really vampires. But if you want to go back to Bram Stoker's Dracula, that was an awesome vampire story. Or if you want to go back to the original Nosferatu, the black and white Nosferatu. That was an awesome... Lost Boys was an awesome vampire movie.
should be
and
afraid.
apparently, I haven't seen
like
it.
Twilight or any of these.
I haven't seen it, but Rachel has been telling me I need to watch The Strain. Now, Jim is saying we need to check out The Strain. My friend Sam, who is going to be working with us on the TFI Gaming project, he is telling me that The Strain is worth watching, so I'm going to have to watch it now.
Yeah.
You have my vote as well.
And
now,
Dean,
Oh, God damn it.
Dean.
I hate you people. I hate
I have a movie you need to watch, Dean.
you. Okay.
Dean, you can send
you're a fan
your
of sci-fi,
hate mail to
right?
my ass.
These are proper vampires, as in, blood-sucking... Yeah, scary, blood-sucking monsters that, holy fuck.
Yes, I am. To answer Neff's question, I am a hardcore, real science fiction fan. And which,
Then
by the way,
watch
Doctor Who
movie Event
isn't.
Horizon.
I've seen it. It's a pretty good film. It's not for
That
everybody,
is
but it's a pretty good film, and it is
Definitely
scary.
horror.
It is. You're right. It has its flaws, but it's a pretty solid, scary film, and with a good science fiction edge to it. I agree. By the way, then, all right, I now pledge I'm going to check out The Strain. And again, if I like it, I'm going to hate you all for it. But has anybody taken my recommendation and watched the only 6 episodes miniseries written by Stephen Moffat called Jekyll?
I have.
It is currently streaming on Netflix, and it is so good, it is worth watching twice in my experience. What is your feeling on it, Christian?
I want a second season. It's really fucking good. I didn't expect it to be good, but I mean, Stephen Moffat brings his classic Arthur Conan Doyle-esque writing style and allows you to piece it together before the main character does. I love that writing style. I absolutely love being given the clues necessary to figure it out on my own.
No spoilers, but on the last episode, props to my wife, when there's the note with the secret, my wife blurted out what the secret was before the audience got to see what it said on the note. Don't say anything more because it'll spoil it for people. Yeah. There's a big reveal with a note at the end, and my wife, because she was paying attention, she blurted out what was on the note before we got to see the note.
And by the way, speaking of that, Mark Gatiss plays the author.
Yes, Mark Gatiss. Again, he and Stephen Moffat are good friends and have been. They met basically working on Doctor Who together. Anyway, guys, go check out Jekyll. It's only 6 episodes. It's streaming on Netflix right now, and it's really good. And Christian, would you agree with me? If you could get an Academy Award for being on a British television show, the guy who plays Dr. Jekyll should got an Academy Award. He was fucking brilliant.
Absolutely. I mean, it's amazing. Like when he's Dr. Jackman.
When he becomes Mr. Hyde.
When he becomes Mr. Hyde, they look different. They look. It's the same actor. They didn't get a separate actor to play Mr. Hyde. It's the exact same actor, but he looks different in both forms. He doesn't look monstrous. He still looks human when he's in the Hyde form, but he does look noticeably different. And his jawline changes, his hairline changes.
And some of it's makeup, but it's very subtle. It's very subtle use of makeup.
It's very convincing.
And it's all in how he carries himself.
Exactly.
It's all in how he carries himself. 99% how he carries himself. You know they did a little with the makeup and the hair, but seriously.
It's the personalities are just night and day, and he did an amazing job playing those 2 different personalities. It's honestly, I want a season 2. Yeah,
it doesn't need one. It has a relatively satisfying ending, but it could totally go for a second season. It totally could. And my feeling is it didn't get made because Moffat got too busy on Doctor Who and Sherlock.
That's probably a good assessment.
Yep. So guys, I'll watch The Strain if at least one of you will promise now to go and watch Jekyll.
It's on my list.
I will try. I will get around to it.
However, I can't promise that it'll be immediately.
Give it 2 episodes. The first episode doesn't necessarily grab you. You'll be grabbed by the middle of the second episode.
Well, I have to finish watching the latest season of Grimm before I can get to that.
Mm-hmm. Well, somebody do it. Somebody do it, and I'll look into The Strain. You bastards.
I still have to look at The Strain, so...
I hate vampires. I hate vampires. I hate vampires. And I know it's not Twilight, but still, I saw the first Twilight movie recently, and, somebody please go quote this one out of context, too. I wanted to go on a murder rampage and murder every teenage girl in America for that movie. I hate it.
Well, here's the thing, though, Dean. Here's the thing, though. It's not just preteen and teenage girls. There are women in their 40s and 50s who are creaming their pants over that movie, just like there are women in their 40s creaming their pants over Justin Bieber for some fucking reason.
Can we have a eugenics program just to get those people out of the gene pool?
Well, that is technically...
Okay, I'm going to say it, and once again, hate mail, my ass, there you go. They may be physically 40 years old, but mentally they're that of a teenager.
I'll give you that. Point. That's a really good point. Fair assessment.
Oh my God! It was just, I wanted to just stab and stab and stab.
The only Twilight movie I ever seen, and it's because I got dragged to the movie theater by a female friend of mine, a very close friend. I've known her since high school. Was the first part of Breaking Dawn, and I fucking...
Are you still friends?
I wanted to... Yeah, we're still friends, but I wanted to vomit. I told her never again. You're not dragging me to any more of these fucking films. I got her back, though. I drove her out to go see a Saw movie.
No, thank you. No, thank you. But that sounds like appropriate revenge to me. All right, now you got to watch Saw with me.
I would have gone more hardcore than that.
What's more hardcore than Saw?
Faces of Death.
Oh well, Jesus. Yeah, that's a truly disturbing film. I am old. Yeah.
No, Old Boy. The movie Old Boy.
Oh, not familiar.
Guy gets locked in a room for 20 years and framed for murder while he's there, and then is let out. And, it's just really fucked up.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say Mean Gene in the chat says plus 1,000 Christian, so.
Okay, what was he plus 1,000 in you on?
I guess for dragging my friend out to go see Saw as revenge for dragging me out to go see fucking Breaking Dawn. And here's the thing, she hates horror movies. She absolutely hates horror movies. She can't stand.
I approve of this.
She cannot stand the sight of blood in movies. And seriously,
he's sadistic.
I think I actually may have given her PTSD.
Should have taken her to 13 Ghosts. Not only is it a bad movie, but there's lots of blood.
Oh, dear God. But that was a great
movie. I enjoyed 13 Ghosts. I really did.
It was campy horror would be the best way to describe it.
And that's why I liked it. I like things that are campy. I really do. I like the old school horror stuff. I like the original Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. I love campy horror movies. I can't explain it. I just love them. I love practical effects. I'm not a fan of CG. I like knowing that the effect that I'm seeing was actually there when they were filming and not added later.
You mean like the original Psycho where he used chocolate syrup for the blood?
Yes.
Hey, this is why you should go back and rewatch the movie Aliens. I was recently doing some research on that. And
you mean the original Alien or
Aliens? They're both good movies for different reasons, but Aliens in particular, because if you watch it, you really can't tell, but that was actually a low-budget film. They were on a really tight, scraped-up budget, and the effects are so good just because the team worked that hard. There was no CG. There was no digital film editing. So they were still in the razor blade and film era of cutting film. And no CGI, and all puppetry, and all practical effects, and
animatronics.
And with only one or two exceptions, you would not know it looking at it today.
And a quick point of fact in the movie Alien, you remember that scene, I believe, right at the end when they're all in like that space bar, that bar, and the alien jumps out of the chest?
That would be Spaceballs.
No.
It's
No,
not it's in the
there was a
beginning.
scene.
It's in the beginning.
Oh, it's in the beginning, yes. And it just
That wasn't a space bar. That was the actual lounge in there where they.
whatever. That in that scene, most of the actors didn't know that was going to happen. It was a complete surprise to them, and some of them actually thought it was real. The reaction from some of those actors are genuine. It's genuine fright.
Yeah, they
The only one who knew what was going to happen was the actor. The actor that
they
had
actually used that scene in film studies classes on how to direct properly. That is still used today in classes as this is how you do it right.
Really? Yeah, and that wasn't a high-budget film either.
Oh, no.
The film Aliens was a low-budget film, done on very much on the cheap, and it's a classic. And you couldn't.
That's why I have them on Blu-ray.
In fact, I was surprised. You know those things where they're in the carrier units. What do they call them? The lifter units. You know, the big yellow things where they're clumping around, and Ripley has the fight in the big yellow exosuit. Yeah, you know how they did. You know what that was? It was mostly made out of cardboard and plastic, and there was a very large man inside of it, and the actress. The hell's her name, Sigourney Weaver, was basically standing on his feet. And that's how they accomplished that particular practical effect. So when she's walking around, there's a guy who's about 6'8" in that yellow thing behind her doing all the motion. And she's doing like the daddy-daughter dance with the feet on his feet kind of thing. That's how they did that.
Yeah, and Mean Gene in the chat
one
says...
of those for real now.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, but that didn't exist back then, and there was no CG either. So everything there is just good use of paint, good use of a guy in a suit, and good use of sound effects.
Yeah, because Mean Gene in the chat is saying that the Alien Queen was actually a 7+ foot guy in a suit.
She was partly puppet, but yeah, sure. Oh, and plus they had only 5 alien suits for that entire movie. They had only 5 for the whole movie. So all those scenes you remember where it looks like there's hundreds of them crawling all over the place, no, it's just all camera cuts. They only had 5 suits because they needed to save money, and James Cameron promised he would not need more than 5 alien suits. Go back and watch that movie and see if that's even obvious. It's pretty cool.
It isn't.
Well, Cameron's always been on the forefront of new technological.
Yeah, and this was like his
cinematography. I mean, you look at his work. Look at his work with The Abyss.
Oh God, that was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
And I'm telling you, everybody on that set went through fucking hell. One of the main actress protagonist in the film, she actually had a mental breakdown at one point. I mean, they had a 55 million gallon tank, or 50 million gallon tank, something like that. Built the whole set, had it underwater. Actually had, I mean, what you were looking at was actually built underwater.
Yeah, the script could have been better on that particular film, but it's a very good film otherwise.
Did you watch the extended version, or the director's cut, or the regular one?
Yeah, the director's cut is definitely an improvement. Still a little weak, but better. Still a little weak, but better. Big improvement. Yep. Absolutely.
Well, we have 1 minute left in the show, so I'm going to cut this short. I know we're having a lot of fun talking about just great movies and how they're made, but I'm going to have to go to final thoughts. We're going to have to wrap up the show, sadly. So I am going to let's go Nephinor first. Final thoughts.
Where we're going, we don't need eyes.
Jim, final thoughts.
Well, it's something I've known for a while. Science fiction is what creates the technology of tomorrow. So, yeah.
Rachel, final thoughts.
Yeah. Gamergate. Yeah.
Dean, final thoughts.
Keep the good fight.
Missy is the master. Also, watch out for TFI Gaming. We think it may be coming soon to a website near you.
James, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, watch The Strain.
And my final thought will be, Gamergate is still going strong. Shows no sign of slowing down. Keep up. Keep it up. Keep it up. And take the red pill.